KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing today and every day, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God. Asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and getting it going. Happy Friday. We have a lot to talk about. There's so much going on. I know I always say that, but it seems like it is a cycle that is spinning faster, 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 and faster. If we thought the election was busy, well, 47 2.0. It's funny because I've had a request in the YouTube chat to stop calling this person the president. I don't know if I can promise you that, but I will do my best to be creative. In any case, we got a lot to talk about, a lot to do. So this is a Friday. It's a Freedman Friday. Every Friday around here is a Freedman Friday. We are committed to talking about reparations. Rain or shine, Democrat or Republican, election or inauguration, all the time. Because we're educating ourselves and each other and advocating and celebrating the victories, of which, believe it or not, there are many. So that's what we do around here every Friday. That's hour 2. Hour 3, we have a lot happening for you. We'll be hearing from Sheila Hines, the auntie of Waukesha Wilson, who was killed in sheriff's custody inside a carceral institution. And we also will be hearing from The Few, and they have a new book out, so that will be rather interesting. Some folks I've not met before, but it is Kelly J, Angie T, and Nota Boy DJ. They'll be joining us in the studio. And then, of course, so will Miss Hines. And we're going to be talking with Sheila Bates of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, so we can see what work Black Lives Matter is doing around reparations. Sometimes we don't know the full story, and there's been a lot of uniting and organizing going on here in Los Angeles, so we'll look at that. Right now, though, you know who he is. He was on the mic real quick in the clutch on Monday. He's a KBLA contributor and the president of ES Advisors, which is a public policy organization, also deals with campaigns, electoral and policy campaigns. Mr. Ed Sanders, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. How you doing today?
Well, I'm blessed and highly favored, and I'm staying incredibly prayed up because, I have to watch the news, and it's rather toxic at the moment. How are you?
Yeah, that's about the same. It's every day it's just like it was in 2016. It's just sort of the, following every word that the orange guy says and sort of reacting to it. I remember how exhausting it was in the first term, and frankly, I don't want to be that exhausted again.
Yeah. Well, do you think it's the same? Because to me, it feels, it does feel like Trump on steroids, to be honest with you. I feel like he's rolling deeper, that these folks have gotten very aggressive, emboldened, organized, and it seems much, much more, it seems very much more scary, to be honest with you. Not that I plan to sit in fear, but just
Yeah, it's not out of fear, but I mean they are far more organized, competent, and clear on what they can do from a power standpoint, and they're not holding back any of it.
Yeah.
List of executive orders, just as a start, but watching some of that move through the legislature will be interesting.
Right. So apparently the president of the United States, Ed, is doing a drive-by today on Southern California. That's my understanding. It seems like no one knows exactly because he has not responded to the governor's invitation. Last I checked, has not responded to the mayor's welcoming. Last I checked, he is planning to fly over North Carolina and California. I think it's helicopter. I assume it's helicopter. It's kind of hard to see from a plane, but and Governor Newsom said, reportedly said he'd be at the tarmac trying to, say what's up, trying to have a conversation with the president. But this is pretty unusual, right, for an elected, and you've worked with and for many, to come into somebody else's jurisdiction and not even acknowledge them or respond to their outreach.
Yeah, I mean, like the pettiness between the president and Democratic, governor, Democratic mayors is it's just silly. I mean, at this point.
Okay, I'm going to stop you, Ed, because you make it sound like it's both sidesing. He's the petty one.
No, I didn't. No, it's not him. It's him. I hope I didn't convey that. But
That's what I got.
Yeah, this is him. But it what I was going to say is, like, in the face of the devastation of so many people losing their homes, so many people dead over the last 2-3 weeks here is, I think any one of us listening to this show put in the position of president understands that your job is to find a way to ease the pain and help the rebuild, that needs to take place. And that's not what he's coming here to do. I mean, he's coming here to put sound bites to Fox News. He's not coming here to look to be helpful in any way.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also questionable how much of a sense of what has happened you can get from a helicopter. I mean, I think you can get some, but boots on the ground, I don't know. I feel like, isn't that what presidents usually do? Don't they at least touch down and go see, the smoking ruins?
Yeah, at least talk to some of the victims, right. Deliver some aid. I mean, those are all the things that you want someone who has to make decisions about this to do. You particularly want them to talk to victims and understand, what happened in their situations and how you can help. That, again, that's not what he's here to do, though. He's not here to understand how he can help. He's here to, put some sound bites out on social media about how he stuck it to Newsom, how he stuck it to Mayor Bass, and drum up his support in other parts of the country.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what it'll do. I guess him staying in the sky will keep the traffic a little bit less obnoxious, possibly, maybe. I mean, he won't be motorcading around. But, you never know with the president-elect. He could decide to pop in just to silence critics like myself. Not that it'll work, but, I mean, he could. I would consider it a plus. Even though, I don't agree with him on most anything. But since you are the president, I think a disaster visit should include actually coming down and seeing the disaster.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that, But if you're going to come down and then, withhold aid, and that's your message, is that you want to withhold, money to help with the rebuild.
Right, unless we agree to...
Yeah,
give him to lift the debt ceiling and give him unlimited spending, which is like, this is how they balance the budget, by the way. Yeah, it's how are you keeping? You sound rather cheerful. I mean, that's kind of your nature. You're a sunny, good-natured individual, but how are you managing? Because I know that you're also someone who's worked on a lot of campaigns and activism, and to see things that we've spent time on being rolled back. How do you keep yourself out of the fear and hand-wringing loop?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think some days I'm better at it than others. We're in a really daunting time for us, and we just came out of the presidential election. You kind of watch the reaction of the country to these wildfires. And, I cannot imagine a hurricane, the tornadoes striking in the Midwest, anyone that perishes because of the cold weather across the country. And I can't imagine in my soul finding ways to point fingers at some elected official, like, oh, you didn't do this, and so people have perished. It's a weird sort of energy. But watching this far right, the way they have, really vilified, one, Karen Bass, but two, Governor Newsom, and it's really along these partisan lines. The way that, the untruthfulness of what's being said is just hyping up, other parts of the country. It's unfortunate because, we've truly moved into an era where, to your point, I find myself, I try to deal in facts, right? I try to deal with, okay, let's talk about the issue. Let's talk about the issue and keep it, as real as we can. But that's not what's happening now in America. This is, say what you want. If it sounds good, if it tugs on, somebody's emotions, that's what drives, the political conversation and the issues that we have to decide now.
So you're saying the truth doesn't matter?
That is depressing, right? Like, that is depressing.
Yeah, well, I'm centering myself in the fact that we were built for this. We've been training for this. Those of us who are blessed enough to understand critical thinking, media literacy, activism, community organizing, media. We understand the assignment. I think we do. It seems like a pretty grueling. It's like a justice seeker's bar exam. But we've been training for this, and I think that's
we train every day.
Yeah,
we start at 6 a.m. here on KBLA. That's, this is the workout out.
That's what I have to remind myself. That's what's keeping me right. It's like, everyone from Reverend James Lawson, may he rest in peace, to my father, the late amazing Mary Baraka, a.k.a. Leroy Jones, my mama, the late amazing Diane DiPrima, and on it goes. They are counting on us. They're proud of us. They're ready to watch us step up and fight this battle. That's what's keeping me on 10 right now. If you want to weigh in, I'd love to hear how you're getting through this and what you're most tracking. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. That's the number. Yesterday, in the city that my brother is the leader of, the city of Newark, New Jersey, it started. ICE officials arrested a U.S. citizen who happened to be a U.S. veteran. The sweeps begin. More on that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Now that Donald J. Trump has begun a second term as president, please join the Empowerment Congress and KBLA Talk 1580 to examine the question, where do we go from here? Chaos or democracy? At the Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science. This Saturday, January 25th, some of LA's top elected officials, Representative Sidney Kamlager-Dove, Assembly members Isaac Bryan and Sade El-Hawari will be on hand for what promises to be a lively and informative conversation. Doors open at 8 a.m. The general session, moderated by Tavis Smiley and broadcast live on KBLA Talk 1580, begins at 9 a.m. The event is free, but seating is limited. Registration is required. Go to the Empowerment Congress website at www.empowermentcongress.org to register. Where do we go from here? Chaos or democracy? Join the Empowerment Congress and KBLA Talk 1580 this Saturday, January 25th. Doors open at 8 a.m. The free program starts at 9 a.m. Registration is required at www.empowermentcongress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Eyes Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacin-capted Pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right
now, indeed. So much to cover. I also think maybe there's this bombardment theory where they try to just burn us out so we can't even track what the heck they're doing. But I mentioned Newark, New Jersey, one of the cities along with Chicago where the ICE raids have happened. My brother, the mayor, spoke out against these raids, saying that Newark will not stand by idly while people are being unlawfully terrorized. And one of the things that happened is that they detained someone. According to ICE, they've made 538 arrests so far. And ironically, it's not, at the moment, it's actually not more than what Joe Biden was doing, but seems to be much more sort of obnoxious and shock and awe-ish. More, meant to, it's theater. It's meant to scare people. Anyway, they arrested a guy who is a veteran, according to my brother, who is the mayor of that city. A U.S. military veteran, he says, who suffered the indignity of having the legitimacy of his military documentation questioned by officers. Unreasonable search and seizure is what my brother is claiming, which is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. I have a feeling we're going to be hearing a lot more of this. Did you see the clip of the president talking with Sean Hannity, where he says you can tell which immigrants are bad and criminal by looking at them? Yeah, and it's playing down even further. Watching the she must have been the ICE regional manager or whatever on the ground during some of the arrests. The disdain and respect for any of the elements of the Constitution, it's clear. They're gonna violate any perceived civil rights in their quest to, it just reminds you of sort of the old slave catchers and what that must have been like. That's the way they're acting, and the energy and excitement in the right word, but their energy for this is really sad. It's really hard to watch that there's that many Americans that sort of revel in this sort of behavior. I know there's some black folks that do too. To be honest, I have a couple of them that are my friends. They feel that somehow this is going to create more opportunity for black people. And I feel like we're missing, if that's your perception, we're missing not just empathy in human rights, humanitarianism, but the fact that a bunch of cops running through our communities and breaking down people's doors and looking for their IDs is not going to benefit black people in any reality. There's no reality where that's going to benefit black people.
Yeah, and it's also like, keep reading the executive orders that have come out, right? Like the next one is ending, discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity in federal hiring and ending DEI programs. What they mean is, stop hiring black people to the federal
Clearly.
government. That's what that is. And, so you only need to just sort of go down the list of executive orders. While that one may be particularly targeted towards Latino or, immigrants, that in particular African immigrants, but and you may feel like you have an opportunity to get ahead because of that. The opportunities that have been afforded to African Americans are being quickly shut down as well. And so now he started the show talking about how effective and organized they are, and you're seeing it across the board right now.
Yeah, luckily they're also vain, corrupt, and incompetent, so that's going to give us a little bit of breathing room, but not all the breathing room. I mean, honestly, the guy says, I'm ending birthright citizenship by executive order, but you can't change the Constitution by executive order, otherwise we wouldn't even have a democracy anymore. These folks would have been, marking up the Constitution with every presidency. So that's already been
you're right,
halted by a judge. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that one is going to go to the courts very quickly. And maybe 2 years before it gets to the Supreme Court, this particular court, right? And hopefully there's not another retirement or death on the Supreme Court that costs another liberal side judge.
Yeah, worried about that too, actually. Yeah. But the thing about it is they don't need another one. They've got a supermajority already. We'll see if they're willing to go so far as to rewrite the 14th Amendment. I mean, no one thought they would do Roe versus Wade, and they did overturn it, even though they lied during their Senate hearings and said they wouldn't. They did. So I think that's a fair point. For black people, I wonder if black people, and I know it's a very small number, they're just loud and wrong. I wonder if people who claim that they were voting for the price of eggs are starting to have any buyer's remorse. I'm thinking about the fact that the Department of Justice has now frozen all civil rights actions. While legalizing discrimination via executive order, getting rid of the anti-discrimination provisions that LBJ signed into law in 1965, at the same time halting all civil rights enforcement by the Department of Justice and freezing all of the consent decrees and police reform agreements that were created by the Justice Department and putting them in the hands of Trump judges. It doesn't get any more anti-black than that. Have you guys caught on yet? That's my question. I don't mean you, but you know what I'm talking about.
I think one thing to also point out is how federal contracting, it lifts minority votes, right? Like the idea that, you as an African American can start a construction business of some sort, and go to work building highways or go to work, building federal, funded projects. A lot of your access to opportunities like that just got wiped away, meaning, a lot of these firms that might bring, African American owned businesses in on projects, whether by carrot or stick, no longer have that incentive and, can just exclude you with impunity at this point. Yeah. And there's no recourse. That's what he's taken away is the opportunity to even have a conversation about it.
Right. It's not illegal. We can discriminate against you. Yeah, it's legal. It's all good.
Yeah.
How is that not racist? How is that not racist? Okay, we're up against it here. But the other thing I want to point out before I forget is that when they say that they sent home all those DEI workers and they're looking at how to fire them, all of those, I would imagine 95% of those are black. Some may be Latine, but most of those are black people. And a few of them may be white women, but the vast majority are black people, because those jobs, diversity, equity, and inclusion, typically go to black people. Those are good paying government jobs, and they are about to be gone. News, traffic, and sports, and more on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Republican Representative Andy Ogles of Tennessee proposed a constitutional amendment to allow Donald Trump to serve a third term as president, stating Trump needs more time to accomplish his goals. The Nashville, Tennessee school shooter's manifesto revealed inspiration from Adolf Hitler and conservative commentator Candace Owens. Owens cast doubt on its authenticity on social media and criticized opponents for politicizing the tragedy. A federal judge in Seattle, Washington temporarily blocked President Trump's executive order limiting birthright citizenship to children with at least one U.S. citizen or permanent resident parent. At least 5 different lawsuits have been filed over the executive order. And Captain America Brave New World is projected to make at least $90 million in its debut weekend. The film follows Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson as the new Captain America and opens on February 14th. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Visit Chevrolet of Montebello for your 2025 savings. Lease a 2025 Trax LT for $238. 2 at this price. APR rates as low as 0.9% on select models up to 60 months. ChevroletofMontebello.com. Together, let's drive.
At Chevrolet of Montebello.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was a dominant night Thursday for both of LA's NBA teams. The Lakers beat Boston by 21 at Crypto.com. The Clippers beat Washington by 17 at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The 21-point win for the Lakers was their largest over the Celtics since the 2010 NBA Finals. It was also the Celtics' largest loss of the season. Anthony Davis had 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 block shots. LeBron had 20 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. James Harden dropped a triple-double to help the Clippers get past Washington, 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists. UCLA's women's basketball team, number 1 in the country, remained unbeaten after an 84-66 win at Rutgers. 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 block shots for Bruins center Lauren Betts. The Bruins are now 19-0, 7-0 in the Big Ten. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that 3 out of 4 adults in the United States have a high risk factor for severe COVID-19. And black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free. with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-511-2112. That's 800-511-2112. 800-511-2112.
The following is not a contest and is a paid advertisement by Family Vacation Getaways with the purpose of soliciting sales of vacation ownership. For complete details, please visit fvgradio.com. If you want a complimentary stay in Cancun at a luxury resort, then Family Vacation Getaways may have your ticket to paradise. We're giving away a 5-day and 4-night stay to the first qualified 50 callers who can name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. An animal that lays eggs and is not a bird. Do you know it? Call now, 800-868-6431. 800-868-6431. You may also be eligible for an exciting bonus vacation to Orlando, Florida for just $398. And don't worry about anything ruining your plans. We can extend your travel up to 18 months. Name an animal that lays eggs and is not a bird, and you may be eligible to get a complimentary Cancun resort stay and an optional bonus vacation to Orlando for just $398. What are you waiting for? Call 800-868-6431. Again, call 800-868-6431 and give us your answer.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
All right, I was spinning the news, traffic, and sports, poring over all of these different papers to try to see if I could figure out if this guy's going to get out of the helicopter. Haven't figured it out, but Trump will be here today. He's going to North Carolina first to look at the damage from Hurricane Helene, and of course he had to say, because North Carolina was treated badly by Democrats, which is not true. They did receive aid, but he lying is like breathing for him. He does it automatically. But I thought the governor did a really good job of walking a fine line, of saying, look, I'm going to be there to meet him. We need his help. He is the president, and I don't want to let partisan politics stand in the way of getting my state rebuilt, but also not, being a weasel and bowing down to him. So I thought it's a tough tightrope, and I think the mayor is trying to walk it too.
Yeah, I mean, that's, looks at politics isn't, you don't like everybody you deal with. And you like only a handful of people that you deal with, really. And, you have to be able to come together and have a conversation, particularly in natural disasters, right? I mean, we talked about it. There's too many people that are in pain to act silly like this.
Well, yeah, doesn't seem to be stopping the president, but who knows? Maybe Queen Califia will touch him with wisdom when he flies into our state. The mythical queen that California is named after, of course. And the president is now saying that FEMA should basically be abolished and states should take care of their own disasters, which seems counterintuitive to him wanting to use the military and the National Guard for everything, but leave us on our own. And I feel like if states are going to have to deal with our own national disasters, we should stop contributing to the national coffers and let California, take care of California. But that would leave much of of our impoverished friends in the South burning to the ground or hurricaning and never bouncing back.
Yeah, this is why you need a federal government that can respond to emergencies. Just look at the way the wildfires were fought. There was so much vitriol at Karen Bass, but what she did was she got the fire departments the resources that they needed. She contacted governor contacted President Biden, offered federal dollars to reimburse, the resources spent here on the ground fighting the wildfires. And as all of those states and other fire departments sent trucks and people out here to fight these wildfires, it's really backstopped by the federal government. And that's what you need, right? If California had to finance that, now we're talking about cutting money for schools, right? And we're talking about cutting money for all of the things that the state does, because it's really expensive to deal with any of these natural disasters, and no one state could pay for its own, set of natural disasters.
I mean, and FEMA,
couldn't handle
it's not perfect, but they do have expertise. They have equipment. The federal government is actually pretty good at distributing checks when they want to, right? We saw that in COVID. But Project 2025, remember that? One of the things they call for is for states to carry 75% of the financial burden of natural disasters and only 25% to be carried by the feds.
Yeah, it's Project 25 is silly. I mean, it's just one of those things that was written, in the bottom of somebody's basement, and the idea that they're implementing it is absurd. But that one is really one of those short-sighted elements of Project 2025 that if they implement it,
well, they are implementing it. Is my point? They're implementing it.
It'll make the next 20 years of natural disasters just horrendous.
I mean, if you look at those executive orders, they're like bullet points from Project 2025. He's trying to do it. Whether or not he'll be successful is another question, and I think that's a fair question. But he's definitely trying to do it. I mean, I don't. My head is exploding because I just feel like people, maybe they're not getting it. I don't know. The Justice Department has frozen its Civil Rights Division. That means police reform deals. That means, and I mentioned this before the election, those consent decrees where the feds make sure that police departments live up to the changes they're supposed to make. All frozen right now. And I'm, yeah. I mean, I was mad at the Biden administration for not, under Merrick Garland, for not, picking up the pace with that stuff. But I don't know if it would matter right now, because if they're freezing and overturning everything that's been done to fix these police departments, when we know and saw on January 6th that they've been infiltrated by white supremacist groups, it might not have made a difference. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of disdain on my side for the Merrick Garland Justice Department, and I think you're right, and we should always sort of remember how that Attorney General slow-walked those reforms, and even prosecuting Trump. Right,
yep.
Like half of the reason we're in this is because he couldn't move those cases forward against the president.
Couldn't or wouldn't.
Yeah, wouldn't. I have no problem saying that. I thought he was a horrible pick by Biden, but what this feels like, Dominique? This feels like the start of Jim Crow Part 2.
Yeah.
And, it could be hyperbole to say that, but, all of the elements that ended Jim Crow are being overturned. That's what's being targeted.
Yeah, right. I mean, how can it be hyperbole when they've just legalized discrimination via executive order, frozen the Department of Justice Civil Rights Department, and outlawed DEI, which is, they had already abolished affirmative action. Now they don't even want you in the room, and they want the right to discriminate against you. I just don't see how that's hyperbolic.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes you get me in the morning, and I'll be a little patient with these guys. But
yeah,
you're
a
right.
dad, so it's good that you're patient.
I mean, but it is, and it is across the board. It's and removing the recourse of the Justice Department. There is nowhere to petition to, right?
Yeah.
If it's something that's sanctioned under state law, then maybe your local state can help you. And, states like California, we would have, the protection of the state as long as it doesn't get, brought up on the federal level. But this really is Jim Crow Part 2. And it's a system of disenfranchisement that, the barriers to just implementing it have been taken down. And now you wait and watch to see how these guys do it.
Well, there's another factor here, too. Let's track this. He's already said he's going to try to defund sanctuary cities and states. California, Los Angeles, San Francisco, whatever a sanctuary city state is. He's already said that. We have a state law that says that our electeds are not, and our law enforcement are not supposed to be handing people over to ICE. So they would have to be either violating state law to comply with the Trump administration or sticking with state law and risking being defunded. Now they're saying they don't want to fund FEMA for national disasters. So you want to leave California on its own while defunding it, even while you're sucking up all of our money to pay your federal bills and pay for your red states to exist.
Yeah, if I remember right, California has an offer on the table from Canada.
Yeah, I mean, I think is it somebody in the chat, it might have been CW Real Estate, who says, can we join Canada as the 11th province already? I mean, look, I was saying that the first Trump administration, can we just build a wall, but just around California and keep them out, or can we secede? But not realistic, right? I mean, it ain't going to happen. He thinks he's going to buy Canada. I don't think we can flee
north and survive.
Yeah, I don't think we can secede. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't know. He starts defunding California, Oregon, and Washington, and it could flow faster than one thinks. But
forget Texas has tried to secede like 500 times, right? Why not California? We might actually know how to do. We might actually be able to do it.
Well, we know we're competent. We could get it done if we had to. It's gonna be. Wow, we're not even a month into this guy. That's what's crazy.
Are we a
week
in?
Like 2 weeks. We're not even a weekend.
Yeah, that's what. Like, I feel like no, he got sworn in on the 20th, and it's actually the 24th. So it might feel like 2 weeks, but it's definitely only 4 days. 800-920-1580 if you want to talk with me and Ed Sanders. We are, or even Miles. Miles is here. He wants to talk to you too. We are here for you. This is a place where we amplify black and progressive voices around the clock. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This sandwich is not just spicy, it's flavorful. Hi, this is Patayo. And this is Elsa. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich is that spicy kick. Because the spice comes in at just the right moment. Oh, no. A little thing I love is that cilantro lime sauce. It's a fun blend of zesty and bold. That's what really makes me happy. Are you going to eat all your fries?
Order a Chick-fil-A Grilled Spicy Deluxe Sandwich and a Diet Dr. Pepper on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Expecting a little rain this weekend. 35% chance on Saturday, 80% chance on Sunday, 65% chance on Monday. It's supposed to be very mild rain, maybe half an inch all together, but we'll see. We never know what's going to happen. That means the Pacific Palisades and to some degree Altadena are bracing for mudslides, and the county of LA has sandbag pickup locations. You can go to the LA County website and you can get free sandbags. This is a real danger. A friend of mine's house got almost totally destroyed by these landslides when we had the big rains in February.
Yeah, and thank you for setting out that warning. I know that it seems silly, but if you've lost all that brush on a hillside by your home, do take the time to put sandbags up, because it's not safe at this juncture with rain coming in.
Yep, and let's see, Altadena Golf Course is a sandbag distribution site in Altadena, Victory Park in Pasadena, Robinson Park in Pasadena, and Las Flores Creek Park in Malibu. Those are sandbag pickup spots. Got a bunch of folks on the phone, Ed, so I figure we will power through them and let folks talk to you for a change. Antonio from L.A., you're on with Ed Sanders.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm actually in Beaumont, California, and Dominic, and to your guest as well. I've been saying it for years that California needs to withdraw from the federal tax system. I have been saying it for a couple decades now, and most people look at me and laugh like I'm crazy. But we are funding our own demise. They're taking our dollars as well as the state of New York. The two big payers in the federal system, we're paying almost 70%. The two states are paying almost 72% or 70% of the total federal tax. And yet we have people down there in the South throwing stones at us and misunderstanding what's going on here in California, even with these fires. And they just went through natural disasters there on the East Coast, and they don't understand what's going on here in California. I think it's high time that we divest from the federal tax system, or at least till we come to the table and come to a better understanding of how we are going to treat one another in this country.
Ed?
Love it. Couldn't have said it any better. Antonio is a brilliant man.
The way you put it, Antonio, is a great point. We are literally paying their salaries to disparage and deconstruct our rights in our state. Yeah.
Well, I mean, not to cut you off, because I'm going to go and
not at all.
Talk. Well, just a moment ago, you guys had a report where in Tennessee there's somebody now proposing that Trump be allowed to have a third term.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not to be taken lightly. I mean, considering that he is an insurrectionist, and he's already proven and demonstrated to me and to you and to the American people that he is not an honest player. So, I mean, he's coming to California here, today or tomorrow or whatever that
today.
And he's going to have a visitation with our governor after he has already disparaged our governor in a public way. So I'm just saying, it's just time for California to really take a look at what it's paying for. And well, I'm going to let you go with that, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dominique. I appreciate you guys very much. Bye-bye.
We're definitely not getting what we're paying for, that's for sure. Let's go to Dwight calling us from Compton. Morning, Dwight. You're on with Ed Sanders. Welcome.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, Ed. Thank you guys for so much of the information that you've given out. And Dominique, I just want to thank KBLA for helping the fire victims get the information they need for help. Thank you and everyone there so much for the information you've given out. And basically, it's a fight between the American people and the billionaires. That's basically, and we should be used to it, like you say, Dominique. We've been here 400 years, and we're still waiting for our equality. So, Dominique, again, shout out to you. And we're into a 2-year fight until we can reelect House Representatives and the Senate. And we got to get both of those back in Democratic hands, and then they can help us fight for the other 2 years to get fight against these billionaires trying to take programs from the poor people to pay billionaires in the trillions of dollars tax break that puts us more in debt. And we just got to do a better job, I guess, Dominique, of getting the message out. Again, thank you. And shout out to Miles, Philadelphia Eagles, too. Good luck in the playoffs, Miles.
Yeah, Miles is flapping his wings back there. He's not gloating, though.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm still salty about the Rams loss. So
Same.
No, on that, Miles. But no, listen. One of the reasons why I love KBLA is the listeners. They get it, right? And we've talked about the billionaire class and how they really shifted in this election, right? The role that LA Times owner played, and along with all the other billionaires in shaping this election. We've got our challenge in front of us, which is how do we get those rural whites across the country that just feel this that Trump is fighting for them to understand that, it's not about race. It's always been about economics. You're not doing better under
but yeah,
Trump.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, though, but Yoda says if Trump can have a third term, then Obama can run against him. I think this is going to sound real foul, but I think Diet Coke and burgers are going to take care of that problem. I don't see him being able to run for a third term at 83. I just don't see it. I know that sounds mean, but hey, facts are facts. Ed, why do you think Trump is saying that he's going to declassify the assassination files of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr.? He says it doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? It's an executive order. He's given these agencies 15 days to figure it out. But, I mean, whether he does it or whether he doesn't do it, the grandstanding around it is clearly done for a reason. But what is that reason?
Yeah, it's to build mistrust in the government, right? Like he has always been that there's sort of this deep state, that he's got to abolish, right? That's been one of his tenets from the very start. And I don't think there's anything more than those three assassinations that sort of highlights, a deep state, right? That each one of those assassinations, there's rumors and innuendo that, the CIA or the FBI played roles in all of those assassinations. And to throw that out there causes distrust in the government, and it puts it in, like, he shining the transparency on it is a good position for him to be in. I, like you, I wait to see what, I think a lot of the presidential assassination papers have been declassified, but I'm actually curious about what could come out of Robert Kennedy and King's files, if anything. But
look, unless he stole those files and he's got them stored at Mar-a-Lago, I don't really think they're going to be released, unless they're among his trove of ill-gotten, classified material. I don't see it happening, but that's a good point, Ed. He probably is just trying to make it look like he's the only trustworthy guy in the U.S. government, which, LOL. Okay, so a lot of stuff happening, and we just have a couple minutes here. Were you surprised that the Fraternal Order of Police finally made a statement against the pardoning of those January 6th insurrectionists?
I am. It's a muted statement, but it's so funny, that they haven't been out front, right? Like, you don't see the Fraternal Order of Police, and I don't watch every news show, but I don't think they've been out, doing television shows. This little statement is just a statement, and you would have had to search for it. I didn't see it in anything that sort of came across my news desk. But we're curious and want to get where they are on it. So.
Yeah, they're not on every news channel. And the ADL finally switching sides on Elon Musk. Yeah, I don't know if it's because of, the outrage on social media or what, but the fact that they were saying, no, it's not a Nazi salute, blah, blah, blah. But now I guess he had to make some off-color jokes, some Nazi jokes for them to actually condemn him.
Some new Nazi jokes.
Some new Nazi, along with the serious Nazi rhetoric that he posts on his X platform.
Yeah. The role that Israel will play in our foreign policy is clear, and the ADL is clearly a proponent of Israel and it's in its tactics, right? No matter how controversial they will be. So ADL again is like another muted sort of criticism to Trump. They're not going to go full-throated, even in the face of Elon Musk doing Nazi salutes. Because it's really clear what Elon Musk was doing. That wasn't, there was nothing ambiguous about that.
Yeah, a so-called gesture by itself is one thing. A gesture supplemented by tweeting Nazi talking points to your millions of followers should be another. Ed Sanders, thank you so much for talking with me today, as always.
Dom, thanks for having me on. Have a great Friday. Great Friday to the KBLA listeners.
You as well. We are talking reparations next hour. Sheila Bates joins us for Freedman Friday on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. Republican Representative Andy Ogles of Tennessee proposed a constitutional amendment to allow Donald Trump to serve a third term as president, stating Trump needs more time to accomplish his goals. The Nashville, Tennessee school shooter's manifesto revealed inspiration from Adolf Hitler and conservative commentator Candace Owens. Owens cast doubt on its authenticity on social media and criticized opponents for politicizing the tragedy. A federal judge in Seattle, Washington temporarily blocked President Trump's executive order limiting birthright citizenship to children with at least one U.S. citizen or permanent resident parent. At least 5 different lawsuits have been filed over the executive order. And Captain America Brave New World is projected to make at least $90 million in its debut weekend. The film follows Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson as the new Captain America and opens on February 14th. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Visit Chevrolet of Montebello for your 2025 savings. Lease a 2025 Trax LT for $238. 2 at this price. APR rates as low as 0.9% on select models up to 60 months. ChevroletofMontebello.com. Together, let's drive.
At Chevrolet of Montebello.
Is this the title? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was a dominant night Thursday for both of LA's NBA teams. The Lakers beat Boston by 21 at Crypto.com. The Clippers beat Washington by 17 at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The 21-point win for the Lakers was their largest over the Celtics since the 2010 NBA Finals. It was also the Celtics' largest loss of the season. Anthony Davis had 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 block shots. LeBron had 20 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. James Harden dropped a triple-double to help the Clippers get past Washington, 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists. UCLA's women's basketball team, number 1 in the country, remained unbeaten after an 84-66 win at Rutgers. 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 block shots for Bruins center Lauren Betts. The Bruins are now 19-0, 7-0 in the Big Ten. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you, neighbor to neighbor, bringing you resources and what you need to know. Sign up for Notify LA on your phone to get fire danger alerts and updates, or check on lafd.org. The Watch Duty app is free.